Good morning, everybody. Welcome to May 20 Funkles. I'm your host, Funkle Jeff. Live here in beautiful, rainy, what's going on? Beautiful, rainy New York. Is this working? I got a pop-up on my phone that said it was ready to go.
I think we're good to go this time. Coming to you live from the Asig Forest
morning,
in my
everybody.
office.
Welcome
I'm your
to
co-host, Keto Crust,
Keto
Shardy
Crust.
B, aka Chum Swanson, aka Steve. Good morning, everybody.
AKA Steve.
Had a big week this week coming in the SC Prime community. We had a lot of stuff happening, a lot of big haps going on. We had the hard fork. Looks like a lot of people got updated.
It's amazing. We're so proud of you. If you didn't update to 1.8, do it right now because it won't do anything and you'll be late and you fucked up. You should have done it last week like we told you.
Yep.
But now
we warned
it's
you.
going great, right? Now 1.8 is running smooth. We had the hashes all did their hashing. The community all followed through and did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah. I think it all went pretty smooth. Updating. It's just a matter of copying, pasting a couple things and following the guides, and it's not a huge deal. But these events are kind of culling events to a certain extent. Every time this has happened, the network kind of gets better and better, in my opinion, because these are the people that are really active in the community and really, you have to kind of participate. You have to stay on top of this stuff a little bit. So,
right. There's a core part of decentralization is that everybody is there to do their own part.
Yeah.
Right. If it's centralized, it's easy to push the big button in the office that goes beep, update everybody. And, as it is right now, the examiners have that function because they are connected. It's said that they may slip away from that function. People are not everybody loves to have their stuff updated by the corporation.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 50-50, right?
I never touched that thing back there. I've plugged it in when it shipped, and I love it.
Yeah, I was sitting at the bar last night, and mine blinked at me, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" What are you?
Yeah. Well, I think I heard rumors too. Like on this note, I heard rumors too that eventually the full license is going to act just like the Exa does. So I think we had a couple people this past week ask well, why isn't my full license updating itself? It's a little more intricate because it's not on a bare Linux system, and the way the software is installed is a little different. But I think that feature is going to come eventually. And to that note, upgrade to the full license if you're still running on basic. There's a really good deal out there right now. You're basically saving $200. You get full access to all of the tool set, all of the accounting, everything that comes along with the Examiner.
And you keep getting incentives too. Don't forget about that. Because remember, you get paid. We get paid $4 a terabyte in STP, whatever it sits at, 35, 38, whatever it is right now, per month, per terabyte. But you also get 70 is still?
Yeah, 70 sounds right. It's a lot.
70, Henry can tell us, but you get 70 STP per terabyte, just incentive. That's the corporation building the network. That's not earnings. That's an airdrop for participation. And as soon as, I think it's the end of the month, right? I think it's June 1st-ish.
I believe so, yeah.
If you don't upgrade, no more incentives for you. And it's not a punishment. It's a realization that the network should be incentivized. 75, says Henry. We're on delay here. But that's an incentivation. Is that a word? Incentivization.
It's pretty close. I mean, there was a little bit of a typo in there, but we'll take it.
But so you get paid a bonus. And so do the math on that. Right. 75 is approximately $8 per terabyte. Right?
$8.25, yes, sir.
Right. So that's per terabyte. And
look, it's been a pretty generous airdrop, handout, whatever you want to call it, because of what happened with the token price. I mean, it was never intended to really stay at the levels that it's at, but there were some unforeseen circumstances and some some cranky dumpers and stuff happens. And
I mean, a global credit fucking catastrophe. It's not like
yeah,
SCP. And if you don't notice that, then open your fucking eyes. This is the
yeah.
whole thing. The
23
whole
has been
network.
23 has been Black Swan. 22 after 22 also is Black Swan after Black Swan after Black Swan. So
2019, yeah, I mean, it seemed like it's been a pattern here, right? But
right.
pay attention and see what we can get. So the next part about the fork wasn't just to make you upgrade to 1.8, right? The fork was to change the mining algorithm, specifically from Blake 2B to Blake 2B Saya. This is the same fork that the Green Boys did 5 years ago to kick all of the non-obelisks. They kicked the S11s off of their network, and we took them. And then nothing happened in ASIC technology on
and
old algo. It all happened on the new algo.
You almost feel bad for these S11 boys. They're just getting they get booted. They get booted from everything, huh? Now
they got booted, but then someone showed up and like picked them up in the bargain basement and said, "Oh, look, these still work. They can mine some shit."
And now they're mining SC Prime Classic Prime.
Yeah, SC Classic Prime Classic. And it's like the new old Coke. But so now, we watched everything go kind of bonkers. We watched the hash rate, difficulty dropped, and the hash rate dropped, and then the Saya guys came in.
Yeah, and it was interesting with the drop. One thing I learned during that whole event was like I was anticipating it drops, boom, the block payout increases, but there's I guess something written in the code where it only allows for a 4% change or 0.4% change per block. So it was a gradual thing. So like we'll show it on stream here later. Like if I look at my payouts in my wallet, it slowly climbs up, and then I hit like where I'm getting 12 SCP payouts and then 14. And then, it's a real gradual change, but kind of like Ken had predicted. And some people in the Discord was like, it as soon as that profitability went up, people started flooding into it.
Right. Inequalities are not left unexploited for very long.
Yeah.
Especially mining is mining. Like you're supposed to be mining the most efficient chain. Like you're the most productive chain. You're not supposed to be wasting your hashes on crap. And so when something makes more money, it makes more money. And we also had a lot of support from Goldshell. From Goldshell, James showed up. They did some special events. They gave away 3 SC boxes so far. Is that right? And they got 2 more to give away.
They've got Henry was saying there's 2 more. I think that are going to be given away in this upcoming week. And one thing that's really cool, Henry or David, will you throw up my screen share real quick? This was like the coolest thing to me that happened out of the whole event was if you go to the Gold Shell website, let me refresh real quick. We got this boom. As soon as anybody went to the Gold Shell website, we got this, the giveaway was mentioned, kind of thrown in people's face, which I think is awesome to get that kind of shout out.
And it's still there at the very top underneath the address bar too. If you close that, it still says 10,000. They're pushing these boxes. They gave away. They did a interesting Q&A in their chat. It was funny. People showed up. It brought some new faces. I see some people. I see Mark Anthony from came over to join the Discord. He was on the he was in Gold Shell and he's listening in there. Hi, Mark.
What's up, Mark? Yeah, Farmer Joe was another guy that hopped over from the Gold Shell Chan.
Right. And
our Discord, and all seem like really good guys. Miners
are a different but important part of this ecosystem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they often get faulted for not especially being, dedicated to the program or committed to the structure, but that's not their job. They're the security guards, right?
Yeah, you have to have it. You still have to have it. And it does feel now that the hash rate definitely is a lot more decentralized than it was before. You don't have these are smaller farm operations and stuff that are making up this hash rate now. As far as I can tell, just from looking at some numbers, there's nothing that's there's no 500 miner farms that have hopped over to us.
And that's healthy.
Yeah.
Because that means that it's people who are participating, not just people running a bunch of stuff in the background.
Yeah.
There's been some jamokes on Twitter. The Sia boys are mad because some of these Sia miners are mad because everybody's jumping hash rates and swapping over. And then, somebody posted a tweet about how the block rewards have gone down. They're like, yeah, because it was bonkers for 24 hours.
Yeah. Right.
As it difficulty sorts itself out, as the hashes sort itself out, things change. And now we're back. We're in some nicer stasis right now. But Henry wants to know, why is difficulty 0? I don't know. That's a question.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to come over here to the KPIs and see. Yeah, so you can see where it bottomed out around 700 terahash. Yeah. And now we're not zooming up, but we're back above a petahash, which is, it's healthy. It's healthy to see that. So,
and it's healthy because we know who it is, or we know who it is more of, right?
Right.
And I don't mean we know their names and we know their KYCs and their addresses. I mean, we've got more community members that are buying boxes, that are showing up in the Discord, that are listening to the project, that are downloading the relayer, that are using this, and they recognize that they can make some money on the back end. That's great, because that's how this whole game works.
And heads up to anyone that's listening into this. So if you use mining pool stats, I think what's going on with some of these like mining sites is that the APIs that they are using are not like 100% accurate to our chain. So I think I heard talk that the devs are actually working on engineering an API within our Explorer that sends, that's going to show the difficulty and hash rate and stuff, so that they can pull that information directly from SC Prime instead of whatever sources they're getting it from currently. Because, you check these sites and they're pretty close, but I don't think 857 is an accurate number right now. And I don't know if this distribution is correct as far as what pools everything's coming from. So always go to the KPIs on the main SC Prime side if you want to know what's actually going on.
That's a good tip right there. So that's such a, the hashy stuff is sorting itself out. The community's growing a little bit, and the community is obviously shrinking a little bit. The S11, there's that dude in Russia with whatever hundreds of these things sitting outside in a paperboard shack. Das vidanya, and see you later. But here we are, moving along. All right. Yeah. So what's next on our channel? Let's bring up the big screen again. And what are we talking about today? We got a couple of relayer things to fuck around with, right?
Yeah. So I've got we've done kind of a series, I guess, on relayer, from how do you set it up. We've done kind of a series on getting a few apps going. We did Mountain Duck, we did Minio, we shot some files around back and forth. But I wanted to kind of show off also a scheduled backup type of application. I know, like you were saying last week on the episode that didn't air, that you actually made a script on your Mac that's backing up your provider metadata straight to the relayer.
Yeah. In your Mac desktop, there's like what they call Automator, a little program that does pre-clipped scripts. Mm-hmm. And one of the ones that you can do is you can set a calendar script, and it uses like the internal like calendar application, like the iCal that's on your iPhone, and you can set an event. And so basically you say, copy this file from here to here at this rate.
Oh, it's that easy, huh? They already have something kind of built into the OS.
It's cut and paste. You go click, you grab this, you grab this, you grab that. I mean,
you're just setting the Mountain Duck mount point as the destination for the backup, pretty much.
Exactly. Right. Gotcha. So I have it open. It just goes into the library and pulls the metadata folder minus. So it's like 5 different pulls, so it doesn't pull the consensus, because we don't need that. And I set it to every 3 days. It just goes zip and puts a copy, zip and puts a copy. and it probably could be more often. And then I don't have it set to delete. I sort of went, how do I do this? And I'm like, oh fuck, that's easy. Let's go with that.
And to me, that's kind of why I know I keep plugging on Mountain Duck, but that's why some kind of a mounting application, whether it's rclone, whether it's Mountain Duck, whether it's Cloud Mounter, whatever application you want to use, making that mount point to where it's easily accessible within your OS and your file system is like, to me, Relayer 101, the first intro step if you're a home user and or probably even a more advanced user. It's just a super efficient, convenient way to have access to files, upload files, and move files around.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're a systems engineer, you're going to be using rclone. But
Right.
when you want to access these things, this is the first step to the Dropbox replacement. I got a Mountain Duck subscription. It was for a license. It was $40, and you're allowed to use it on all your personal computers. Like, it's multiple use. So I have it on my desktop, a work laptop, and another laptop, and it just every time you open it up, it syncs that folder. And
everything's synced up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your Dropbox, right? That's the thing. That's what you can use it for. When you need something at home and away.
So I would have to dig in. I've actually been wanting to do this because I have my Linux provider DIY behind me. Like, I would love to figure out a script or some kind of application. I know there's one out there where I can do a similar thing to what you've done, where that metadata is automatically just dumping into the relayer every week or every other day or what have you.
Yeah, I mean, a cron job would just do it, right? Copy folder at time. The only thing that I just looked at this click and paste. I mean, if we want to, David, give me 10 seconds and I'm going to screen share my Mac. If you can pull me up on a screen share, David. All right. So Automator is this little guy, lives in the desktop, lives here. Mm-hmm. So you can see it's a calendar alarm, basically, is what they call this one. I'm going to set a calendar alarm, and then I'm going to, down this list of pre-configured actions, I'm going to say copy Finder items. And so you want, where are you going to copy it to? And you pick the folder you want to stick it into. See, look, now it's going into that's my relayer right there. You can choose the files you want. You can get specific items. And then at the end of it, you just set this on a schedule on a date. And that's it. And that's
awesome.
And then it just does it. And if you look at my calendar, you can see here on the 16th, backup SCP. On today, backup SCP. Backup SCP. And if you look in my folder here, you can see there's my gateway backed up.
Right there. That's your that's on the relayer.
Yeah, May 16th. There's all the backups, right? And it's not running off this. This is just the backup that's coming.
That's going to be a good little snippet for any Mac users out there. I mean, obviously, you're going to need to go back a couple videos, or go to the guides, or go to the Discord. Get a relayer set up. Run it on a VM. Get a shitty Dell off eBay. Just get one set up. Put it on your network. Throw on Mountain Duck. Throw on whatever apps you want to use, and start trying out the network. It's really some cool stuff. Really useful. But on that note, on the scheduled backups, whenever you're finished up, Jeff, we'll throw up. I'll run through Cloudberry. Is the app that I kind of had in mind. We'll run through a setup on that too.
David, if you can put us on a split screen of both of us screen sharing there, and we'll leave my relayer up.
Oh, there you go. That'll work. So let me drag over here. So yeah, this is an empty, fresh installation of Cloudberry here.
So tell me, I don't know what Cloudberry is. What does Cloudberry do?
It's just a kind of similar to what you have on your Mac. It's a scheduled backup app. It's a little more in depth than that, obviously, but you can back up either your entire system. You can back up selected folders. You can back up to a Microsoft SQL server. you can kind of pick and choose and create a plan that goes from this destination to this destination.
Got
So,
it.
say you have Dropbox, Google, XNS. This folder on every Wednesday goes to Google. This folder every Tuesday goes to XNS. You can, and it's, you can kind of customize like that. So what we're going to do.
Oh yeah. Like what my use case there was very basic. And I just sort of had this thought of like, I want to copy 4 files. What's the easiest way? Right. You're talking about a much more dynamic, like moving things around, keep them organized. And that's great. End of the week fails, go away. Yeah.
Yeah. And the cool thing, this is by MSP360. Yeah, that's the company here. And this is actually a free piece of software. So we'll create a new backup plan. We'll click files here. And it'll has a wizard that'll kind of walk you through everything. Next. Oh, I'll just delete this and we'll start from scratch. Plan name. Funkel's back. We'll back up. Just come here. We'll do my work folder. And all files. Enable compression, sure. Hold up. Let me go back a few steps. I think it's missing something. It's missing the part where it actually add new storage account. There we go. So yeah, this is where you would tie in your Backblaze, your whatever. We're going to be under S3 compatible.
That's nice that they don't make you have to dig around in the other ones. Often you'll have to pick the AWS one, and you have to change the address. It's nice if they just say S3 compatible because it's true.
Yeah, exactly. So put in a name there. Put in credentials. Hopefully it doesn't show the, oh good, doesn't show the password. I planned that because I've of course checked this beforehand. Service point, it's going to be your URL that you set up.
So now Steven's putting this to my relayer. Remember, this is on the right-hand side of the screen is my relayer dashboard.
Yep,
running
from Nevada to New York. And so if it works, it should show. Yep. So you can select your bucket on the very bottom. So I see Funkels 2 right here. Boom. So now that's set up as a backup destination. Now we'll go back through all these boring settings. We'll set that file, backup all, next, next, next. Keep backups forever, of course. I do not want email notifications though. That is kind of cool though. You can put in your email address and it'll like ping you whenever it sends up a backup. So there's that. And now backup plan. Go here and then I hit start. So now it's backing up all my blueprints, all of my financial reports, all of my work-related files. It's going to back that up on Jeff's relayer in New York.
For me to dig through it and send off to the IRS.
For me to delete immediately after this episode. But yeah, I don't know. It's for scheduled stuff. This is actually what I use day to day. I use it in my office to connect to my relayer at my house. I use this on a couple different PCs around my home also, and just to back up my systems, stuff like that. So
now I've switched to the God view on Minio. So remember, as this stands right now, the relayer itself has these asset management tools, right? And in here, you can see that there's multiple people have access. And they have different groups. There's a Funkels group. The XXA is my group. You guys can't see my group. But this is still just a single client. This is only billing me, right?
Mm.
You guys have access. This is great for a work environment, a single office work environment, where in the boss pays for it and gives different departments different responsibilities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So you can see I'm getting some little bit of cash is filling up on my end as some pending uploads. 100 at the bottom there, 136 megabytes are pending.
Yeah, and I bet if I open my Mountain Duck here, I should be able to see something coming in too. Yep. Yeah, CBB laptop. That's what it.
Yeah, so you can see it in the Minio screen. You can see it here and starting to accumulate. I guess right now, looking at it, we're probably looking at the raw backup data.
It does its own encryption server side before it even sends anything over to the relayer. It already does its own encryption before it backs up to you. Then it gets re-encrypted, so it's inception encrypted.
Yeah, encrypted. But that's a backup. That's a backup solution. That's not a Dropbox solution, right? Like this is not intended for you to just go grab it raw. But that's fine.
This is intended. If I want to restore these files at any time because I have a hard drive failure or something, I can go back. I can relaunch Cloudberry and restore those files back to me.
And that's a very valuable use case for your business files.
Which, speaking of restore, while you've got your relayer up there, you want to talk a little bit about the backup function that's built into it. This is something that I haven't played around with a whole lot. I don't know if you have really.
So I've peeked at it. I haven't tried to restore from it, and I haven't been given much guidance nor asked for it. So I'm not really going to poke with this at all. But on the configuration tab at the top, there's a general config, which is where we set your cache size. Oh, there's my password. Great. I have to change that now.
Doing it live.
But if you look at the backup tab, you can see here there's a backup frequency in minutes. There's a data threshold, which will number of gigabytes transferred before triggering a backup, number of backups in history, and then you can see backup now. But you can also see these have gone off every hour, right? It's 12:09 is when it goes off, 11:09, 10:09, and so they're all sitting there. And that's not the data, but that's the relay. That's not the content on the cloud.
That's the keys to get back into the content. If you need to update or you need to reinstall the relayer elsewhere. Okay.
Yeah, there's only 900 kilobytes in each one of those backups.
And that's something. That's something I actually want to play around with maybe this week coming up, or maybe we can talk about it a little bit more in depth next week on the show. Is creating that backup file, saving those backup folders to something, and then say we reinstall a relayer on another device, and then restoring that relayer.
Put the backup folders on a relayer and then back it up to a relayer.
And then restore the relayer from the relayer.
We can have it do it all in ChatGPT, like it's a virtual relayer installation. So if you look at the bottom here, look, there's a 900 megabytes are uploading to me. However many more are coming, it's still working. We can see on the Cloudberry still pushing stuff up there, which is great. Now, this is an interesting point, Stephen. This is where something that we don't talk about a lot. And this is one of the big comps to the other clouds, right? Price. So we know that $8 is a terabyte is a good price. That's a front line. Let's talk discounts. Call me. We'll make it count. But everybody else, people talk about price. People talk about Wasabi is $6 and Backblaze is how much is Backblaze right now?
So Backblaze is technically $5 per terabyte per month, but where they get you, and I did a lot of digging into this and into a lot of the different hosting companies. They actually charge you a penny per gigabyte upload and download. So like for the files that I'm sending you right now, I think it's around a terabyte or so. I would be paying
$10.
$10 to send it in, and then if I need to access it, I'm paying another $10.
And you're paying $5 just to leave it there.
Yeah, exactly. So if it's long time archival, sure, but they claim $5, but they hit you with fees at every opportunity that they can.
And that's the thing, that on this XNS, there is no egress fees. It's
Seven
zero.
ninety nine. Yep,
$7.99,
$7.99.
up
That's
and
it.
down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, and touch it and do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
And so now there's an interesting point. The providers still get paid per terabyte up and down, right? Or at least taking it back, but small, you know. But that comes out of the overhead. That doesn't come out.
Yeah.
That doesn't come out
Out
of
of the corpse pocket.
the consumer, of the user's pocket. They don't have to kick up for, you're going to upload 20 terabytes. That's $200 just to upload it.
Yeah, it's nuts, and that's kind of, I don't want to say industry standard, but
It is industry standard. I mean,
it's a
they
lot.
all
It's a
do
lot
it.
out. It's a lot out there. It's more do that, more have that kind of fee structure than don't.
And a lot of them are a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of the egress fees are a lot higher than Backblaze, than a penny a gigabyte.
And a penny, yeah.
So that's really, really one of the big underscored comps. Everybody likes to talk about their bottom line and what it costs. $5 a terabyte. It's not. It's
Are you actually using the data though? If you actually need to access it, that service is pretty much useless to a company. I mean, you're gonna wind up paying 5 times what the advertised price is if you need any kind of access to your storage. So,
and imagine you had a file that gets touched by multiple people in a day.
right.
Up, down, over there, back over here, back over there, and you just sure, if it's a PDF, who cares? It adds up, of course, but
if it's an office or a commercial structured company of any kind, all using a common storage solution, then you're going to rack it up pretty quick.
And these are costs that people have gotten, the boiled frog thing. They just got used to it. This is so easy. It's so great. Oh, the bill comes, and we used a little bit more this month, and we're going over it again.
Yeah, you pay it every month, because what option do you have?
Exactly. I have an option.
And now there is an option.
Hey, This is the option. So you got Cloudberry. You got Cloudberry, which is a free app, right?
Yep. You got Mountain Duck, which is $40.
$40 forever. You got Arclone, which is a free app.
Mm-hmm.
You can be sticking your files. You can write a cron job. You can use Mac Automator. You can just back up yourself daily, whatever it is. And then you're paying $7.99 flat, and you don't have to worry about that end of when you need it back, when you need to touch it, when it adds up, and all of a sudden you got this cloud bill. And you say, why would I spend all this money on the cloud? Why?
Yeah.
Of course why.
We need to get somebody on the show that knows the TrueNOS systems a little bit better. I know that we have a guide out there to do auto backups on both TrueNOS and Synology, and I know those are both really big manufacturers within the space, but I've never touched either of the products. I can't speak to how the whole system works, but I feel like that's a pretty good market for the product that we offer.
Exactly. Especially it's one more redundant backup without paying for premium cloud nonsense kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So our Cloudberry's zipping along here. I know I've poked at a couple of these things like Cloudberry. I've looked at them. I've gone through them all. There's a whole business here. There's a whole layer of people have taken this functionality, they've packaged it in an app, they sell it for $3.99 or give it to you freemium and stick up ads, let you buy the premium one. There's tons of these things. Find the one you work. Cloudberry being free is great. Cloudberry, that's a real low barrier to entry, because it's always annoying when you buy a $4.99 app that just kind of sucks.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think the thing with Cloudberry is that they're a pretty, MSP360 is a pretty huge company. I think this is kind of like their introductory
Yeah.
software, like, hey, get your foot in the door, try it out. You like it. Then we also have this tier, this tier, this tier. So if you need something that's a little more heavy duty, there's definitely other options through them. But yeah, like Duplicati is another one. I'm a bigger fan of this. Just Duplicati is like a web-based thing, where like you open the app and then it opens up in your browser, and it's fine. But yeah, this is just worked for me. I find something that works, that does what I need it to do, and I tend to just stick with it.
I mean, that's a good way to get things done until 20 years later when they don't support the software anymore. But
Right.
then we get to have that old man talk and be like, okay, so you're going to have to upgrade your Windows too. Otherwise, you're just scouring the Where's sites looking for your
Looking for
floppy disk image of
where's my firmware update?
Accounting 1991. All right, why don't we go back to some big screens here? Let our background do its background stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sneak into the relayer configuration and change my password right now. So if anybody is
don't change it. Don't change it live.
It's not on the camera anymore.
Oh, okay. There you go. I could just see it. I could see it in OBS. Well, Jeff's doing that. Does anybody? I don't know if we even have anybody watching. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything for us while you still have us?
We got some wrap up. We got some more things to talk about here. We're going to talk about this.
What else
about this community motivation activation program.
Oh, right.
So our friend Ken, hi Ken, if you're watching, was having a spirited one-man discussion in the Discord channel this morning. I'm laughing.
That's a really funny way to address his monologues, which I love. I love the monologues. I love the alpha. That was a really good phrasing. I like that.
Everybody who knows about this program, everybody who knows about this project right now, everybody who has a node, has an Exa, is watching these videos, is watching the relayer work, knows something that not everybody knows, and they know something that sits on the edge of like a multi-billion-dollar cloud industry, right? Amazon, Azure, Google, Oracle. Everybody does this. Cloud is massive, right? When we're talking about like comping to Backblaze, this is a bootstrapped company with like 3 devs that aren't on payroll right now because we're in this growth phase. But all of us who are here know, like we just watched it happen. You just watched Steven load up his berries, send them across the country, backing them up onto my computer, and then zooming to the internet, right? It's going to the you can't even keep a straight face. It's doable. Like you can all do that. And guess what? People pay a lot of money for that.
Yeah, and it's not only is it better on a price point, but it's like the performance you get out of it is equal to or greater than most of those other companies that you just talked about.
And they all have $1 million sales, $1 billion sales teams. In Vegas last year, we went to the NAB show in Vegas, and the SCP booth was sitting there, had a relayer, had an Exa, had screens, had a big drop. 10 feet away, Jeff Bezos built a castle.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a 3-family home 10 feet away because they have so much fucking money. Yeah. And they make the money and they pay the people. But XNS is sitting here right there for you to sell, anybody to sell, everybody to go out and say, hey, shit, I can put some content on here. I know somebody that could use this. And the corporation is going to let you make money on that.
Mm-hmm. You position yourself in this this whole money inflow and outflow, right? You become a partner and you're kind of in the middle of all those transactions, and it really can be, this thing can scale to the same size as AWS. That's the thing. And it can do it. I don't want to say it can do it easily, but the network capacity can grow overnight. We've already seen that happen before.
As much as you need it, right? That's the thing. If
Yeah.
somebody shows up and they need 2 exabytes, there'll be 2 exabytes.
Yeah.
Like within, weeks. And that's maybe too late. But guess what? And then next time it'll be within days. And then next time it'll be within hours. Because it's like the mining capacity, right? When that difficulty dropped and the mining and the hash rates went down and everybody rushed in because they're like, well, there's opportunity. These things don't get unnoticed for long.
Yeah, people will flock to it. People flock to opportunity. It's a very good point.
And right now, those of everybody on this video and everybody in the Discord and everybody is placed to be the people that get to grab it. Because you just have to go get it. You get on Twitter, hammer people. Hey, what about this? I want to save money. Zero egress is like, just think about how much, back to that conversation, right? Back to how much egress costs, right? Someone spends $10,000 a month on egress. You can save them $10,000 today. Sure, maybe their top line goes up a bit. Maybe they go from 5 to 7, but they're going to say, what, save $10,000?
Well,
$100,000?
And honestly, more than likely, with these early partners and people that catch this first and people that catch this quickly, they're going to be able to comp prices to just about any provider out there, because they're going to be getting better deals than the $7.99. $7.99, that's the intro number, but from what I know, these partners are going to get significantly lower than that to get people on board and to get their foot in the door. So,
and then remember, we got 66, 67 petabytes of available space last time I looked at the network, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So that network is all waiting to be filled by people who bought those hard drives and those licenses and stood those things up. Right? They're all sitting there hungry. And you, Stephen, how many terabytes of available space do you have hosted right now?
60, 81-ish, 80-ish.
Yeah. I got like 96 plus another 64 that's someone else is sitting at the bar. But point being, if you sell somebody to use the reeler, if you sign a client, you can set that part of their data goes to you.
Right.
So you charge them $5.99, or they pay $5.99, and you get whatever as your overage. But that you're also going to put terabytes on your X's. And then you're getting paid, like, you're not going to get it all because it has to be duplicated, but you're going to get you've locked in your own client. You're making your own money and you're paying yourself for it.
So would you say that there's some kind of advantage to like setting up regional kind of coalitions? Like, say you had a bunch of friends that, you all bought a couple X's together, and
it's part of the flywheel, right? Mm-hmm. Because if I live in New York and if I go to businesses nearby, they want to be on the network, and they're going to touch the network, and they're going to touch the local people, right? Mm-hmm. That's just what's going to do. The X is not going to stick their data in the Philippines. It's going to stick it regionally. And now, say there's 10 providers within 10 miles, right? And say there's, there's like, a couple petabytes within 10 miles. Well, if everybody knows each other and everybody works together, or even some of you work together, and you can create a provider set, and you can capture that data, and you can talk to your neighbors, on digitally or on the Discord, and everybody can have ideas, and someone could say, hey, I know a guy. I don't know how to sell anything though. I don't have the answers to these questions. And you can talk to your uncle, wife, sister, whoever might need data. And you can say, oh yeah, you should meet so-and-so. They know how to sell. You can have a seller in your group, and you can have a tech guy in your group, and you can have a bunch of nodes in your group.
Well, the thing about selling this product though is maybe there's certain people. It is a certain type of person that sells, right? Like I get that, but the information, as far as like not knowing the answers to, oh, how much does it cost? Oh, what's this? The information's out there, and I think that the whole network's kind of at a stage where it's time for everybody in the community to, if they really want to make the most out of this and really want to profit and really want to position themselves well, you got to get out there and you got to do a little bit of legwork. You got to do a little bit of research. You got to, kind of know your shit, as they say. And the information's there. The information is out there. It's just whether or not you really want to take yourself and be applied. Effort in is equal to results out, or something like that, I hear. So
it's like calories in are equal to hard seltzer out. No, you're right, and I'm making a joke, but you're right. And it doesn't have to be door knocking. It doesn't have to. You don't have to be an IT wizard. It can be word of mouth. It can be let's talk. It can be come to the Discord. It can be here's a link to this thing. It can be on Twitter. Our buddy Viking is all over Twitter.
Oh yeah,
and he's hammered at people, and he's getting results. He's getting people talking back to him. I mean, in a good way, and that's marketing, right? Like
I like how we kind of fired up the whole outreach thing, and now he's just taken it and ran with it to a whole nother level. I can't even keep up with how much that guy tweets.
Right, it's like a Leroy Jenkins kind of thing. Where
Yeah.
I think he signed a deal with Bill Gates the other day, and it's like
that's what I hear. It's what I hear.
It never ends. And like you can do it in your own way, and you can do it in your own industry. Mm-hmm. You can do it in your own. You can do it in your own family. You can do it in your own community. You can do it, and it starts with messing with that relayer, right? Pop up the relayer, stick in your Mountain Duck or your R clone or your. At this point, forget Mountain Duck. Go with Cloudberry. Go with these free apps. Like,
it was really interesting a while back. I was setting up some of the construction companies I work with out here. They use the software called Procore. It's just construction management, whatever. And you can select what your trades are, what you're willing to contribute to the projects, this and that. And one of the categories on there was cloud storage provider. And this is an architectural building firm.
Yeah.
And it makes you, and they're one of the bigger ones in town, and it makes you think, well, if they have that available, how much data are these guys putting on a network? And so of course I click that box. You never know what industry. Everybody uses data. Everybody needs storage. It's not just some crazy mystical thing that hangs out in data centers, doctors' offices. Every kind of industry has a use for this. So, reach out within your sector even. And if you do enough digging, I bet you'll find something.
Yeah. The tricky part, of course, is this like software as a service wall, right? Mm-hmm. All these things are somebody else has figured out how to write a software for a doctor's office or a construction company or a POS for a pizza restaurant, and they stick it all in the cloud. They don't give you the option of changing where your cloud is because they just stick it all in their cloud. They want it all. They want all that data to run through it all to see what's happening. You license the use, and they know how many buckets of nails or how many glasses of wine sold in a region. They can crunch all this stuff, and that's valuable data. But there's that middle, right? And there's that middle. And as we create more things like this, more things like XNS, there comes more use cases for people controlling their data. People want, ease. It's like the Dropbox thing, right? How many years ago? 10 years ago, we got Dropbox, right? It showed up. You get a free terabyte. Wow, it's so cool. And you stick your stuff on it, and it syncs to your computer and your phone and your.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy, right? It's convenient.
Exactly. And, they charge you a lot. If you want, it's like you get 2 gigabytes. What do you get for free? It's tiny.
It's small. It's like Google Drive. Google Drive gives you 10 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah. And if you want to get a terabyte, it's $39.99 or some
Yeah.
dumbass number. But you're paying because it's easy. You're paying because you're already stuck in it. You're paying, they don't charge you that egress fee, so they got to charge you an overhead. And guess what? They got all your data in a bucket, and they can go like this, like a filing cabinet through, and look at it and decipher stuff. And I mean, they say they're not, but they control. Yeah. They know who uses it.
They can turn it over to 16,000 IRS agents if they ever get a subpoena.
Sure. But get out there. That's the thing. Talk about it. Think about it. Look at it. Activate it. Imagine what you can do. Imagine security cameras. Imagine system backups. Imagine, like these things they're everyday things that get used in the whole wide world. Mm-hmm. And we're going to keep on talking about things you can use. We're enjoying this, right? I'm constantly excited by the thing we figure out next that we can show you.
Because we're learning as we're trying to figure out what to show people, and the conversation kind of opens itself up as you come up with these ideas. A lot of this stuff just happens live as we're sitting here talking about it. So I think there's a lot of different facets about this that people can dive into and definitely carve their own path using the network.
And get paid for it, right?
Get paid for it, exactly.
As it stands, everybody's here to make that $4 a terabyte, right? Everybody bought an Exa to fill it up. The filling up doesn't just, snap of the fingers happen for you. People have to put stuff on it. Mm-hmm. And when this proves to work, like those hashes, this will prove to be a inequality that has not been yet exploited. And so consider this alpha, right? This is the opportunity to exploit. Hey guys, come shoot these fish in this barrel before the professional fish shooters show up.
Yeah.
They're going to show up.
Yeah. And get in while you can.
Right. Imagine like the thing in Soapbox today, that conversation, if you put whatever, 10, 20, 30, 40 terabytes of sales onto the network, and you put 25% of that onto your Exa, and you manage that relationship, that's yours. Mm-hmm. So you got 10 terabytes that's paying you $40 a month from one sales call, one connect.
And the thing about archival, right? And the thing about storage is that most of these companies, they're not just storing stuff for a month or 2 months or a short little period.
It's never coming off.
This is mailbox money that you're going to continue to put into your pocket monthly for probably the next 30 years, 40 years. Who knows how long they need to keep their storage, but I can guarantee you it's going to be longer than a few months or probably even a few years.
Right. And so you go out once and you make that touch.
Yep.
Imagine $40 a month just for one touch. For 10 years or 5 years or 2 years or a year. Who cares, right? $500. You made one. Hey, check this out. This is cool. That's your alpha. That's your fish in the barrel money.
Yep. And then you're doubling down, putting that money back on your own providers too. And then that same $4 a month per terabyte, that also carries on until the heat death of the universe. So yeah.
And then so when those new people show up, right? When the pros show up, they're going to buy a bunch of storage. They're going to stand up a bunch of storage. They're going to sell a bunch of storage. They're going to make money on both ends, like they know what they're doing. But it won't take yours away. It's not the helium model where the taller guy with the better antenna eats your lunch.
Right.
There's no milkshake underneath your lawn going sideways. It doesn't work that way. There is you sitting there happy with
what's my milkshake doing again?
Drink the milkshake.
Is this an actual saying? Hold on. I need to Google this one.
Somebody put that Daniel Day-Lewis meme up.
Yeah, I missed some of the pop culture memes, so I'm not gonna lie.
I drink your milkshake.
Oh, gotcha.
But they're not gonna. But the helium guys, the helium antenna drinks your milkshake, right? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, your hex goes and you got 40 fucking pings in your hex, and no one gets anything. doesn't work that way with this
Right.
because your data is not going to just shift over to somebody else all of a sudden.
Nope.
It's not just going to go, oh, someone else is here, so everybody gets a part of it. No, it doesn't do that. You stay with yours. They show up. But if they're professional fish shooters, they're going to fill their barrel up. They're not going to worry about it.
You make it sound like I need to stop pinging MSPs in Twitter, or they're going to come in and steal and take the opportunity before I have a chance to get some sales under my belt.
I mean, it works both ways, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. There's opportunity, but there's there's picks and shovels, right? In that same gold rush thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you can get up in the hills and make gold, or you can sit in town and sell shovels. So pinging MSPs, if they show up and fill your EXA, you're getting paid anyways, right? If they show up and they pump the coin price, you're getting paid anyways. If they start watching our video and clicking the ads, and then all of a sudden we get that fat YouTube checks.
Oh man, that's going to be the day. Today's episode is brought to you by Sad Boy E-Liquid Vape Juice.
Today's YouTube is brought to you by warm, delicious oat milk. It gives you the feeling you always wanted to feel. Our Australian friend Tony was trying to get him to sing some oat milk songs last night. I don't know. I think I had been drinking some wine. I'm not sure.
I'm surprised you don't seem that hungover this morning. You were definitely a little frisky last night.
Oh, really? Was I?
1 a.m. New York time. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a mess. I had to clean some.
Yeah, cleaning those pizza pans just get you fired up, huh?
I just got to pour a glass of wine to get myself ready for it.
Yeah.
Well, what else we got to talk about? I think we've worked our way down the good list of stuff, hey?
Yeah, I think so. We've been on here for quite a bit.
Nice hour.
Nobody has any questions or anything. We'll see you next week.
Oof. And like that, the Funkles have done their job. At the bottom here, somewhere, it says YouTube you can follow. And over underneath Shardy, it's got a Twitter dude. Come in the Discord.
Yeah, follow, like, share the video.
Yeah, tell all your friends. Yeah, leave a comment. Leave a comment and say, Jeff talks too much, or I want some vape juice, or whatever. And that helps. And thank you, David. It's good to have you back. Sorry about last week. I was put in charge.
We found out pretty quickly that we literally can't do it without him. So
literally, it did not happen. And congratulations to Helium Street Mike for getting married or graduating.
I think he graduated college this week. So
okay, cool.
Good on him. It's never too late.
Yeah, always be learning.
We'll see you. We'll see you guys later. Jeff is on today.
Still what? Live?
We're still live. We're talking over this.
Jeez.
Music. Oat milk is not